Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Simple Learning Tips. So in today's video, we'll be discussing about international labor standards. Okay. So first, as usual, I've given a small introduction. Uh, don't get confused with this introduction. Okay, I'll just explain it simply. Basically, international labor standard means they are international rules, okay, that protect workers from being overloaded, that is overloaded with work, or if they are underpaid, if they are being exploited or being harmed, okay, in the workplace. And also it helps to ensure that everyone is getting or having the basic rights at work. So that is what international labor standard means. Its purpose is basically to ensure that workers everywhere in India, whether it is USA, India, Africa, or any other country, they have basic rights like fair pay, safe working conditions, their freedom to join any kind of unions, no child or forced labor. Okay, so you just think of ILS, International Labour Standards, as the global minimum rules for how workers should be treated with respect and fairness. Okay. Now, you might think who has set these standards? So these standards were set by or developed by International Labour Organization ILO. I've made a video for that. If you haven't checked, please check that before moving on to this video, so you will have a better understanding. So basically, ILO is a UN agency. It was formed in 1919. Okay. So that is what ILO is. Next is forms of international labor standards. Now, there are two types of forms. First is your conventions. Okay, conventions means they are the legally binding rules. Countries that ratify means who agree to follow them, must follow these rules. Okay, that is, conventions are international treaties. Okay, once a country ratifies, that is, like I said, if they formally accept this convention, they are legally bound to follow the rules. Countries must modify or create their national laws to comply with the convention. Okay. Like for example, India has ratified C-138 minimum age conventions. So when we are making any kind of law, we have to be aligned with this convention. Okay. So that is why in India we ban child labor under 14 in most sectors. Okay. Now next is recommendation. Recommendation means they are the non-binding guidelines that support these conventions. Okay, countries may follow them for best practices. Like, uh, they serve as some kind of these recommendations. They serve as some kind of guidance or the best practices that are to be followed. But the countries, they are not obligated to follow them, but they are encouraged to use them as a reference for improving any kind of labor standards. For example, there is a convention R198, Employment Relationship Recommendation 2006. Now, this offers guidance on identifying and protecting workers in informal or disguised employment relationship. Like I said, this can be tailored to any country's unique situation. It is just a guidance and it supports any kind of policy making. Okay. Now, if I have to give some proper example, like I said, C-138, that was the minimum age convention. India has ratified it, so we are legally bound to follow that convention. And now there is a recommendation on work from home 2021. Now this means that, this is not that that we are legally bound to that. It is good that if you follow this practice. These are basically guidelines or guidance on managing remote workers fairly, and especially post COVID. Next, let's move on to the objectives of international standards. So these are the goals, like you have to protect workers' rights globally and provide decent productive work. You have to eliminate child and I'm just reading from it. You just can understand because these are all in very simple terms. Eliminate child and forced labor, and you have to ensure equal treatment based and you should not be biased based on gender, caste, religion. Promote safe and healthy workplaces, support trade unions and collective bargaining, and it helps to build social justice and peace through fair work. Now, without fair labor practices. Why these objectives and ILS are important is because without fair labor practices, countries and companies they face strikes, unwanted issues, legal issues, unrest, bad reputation, and poor productivity. Now, same like ILO, there are some core fundamental international labor conventions. Sorry, these are the most important ILO conventions. Okay, I think I have discussed in previous video also, but just I'll go quickly through it. C029, that is your forced convention labor. It bans slavery and forced labor. C105, this is abolition of forced labor. Again, bans forced labor as punishment. And C087, freedom of association. This is the freedom of a worker, the right of a worker to form or join trade unions. C098, right to collective bargaining. That is, it provides the right to workers to negotiate as a group for better pay. Then you have C100, equal remuneration, that is equal pay for equal work. C111, discrimination in employment, that is no discrimination at work based on gender, caste, religion. C138, minimum age convention, this sets legal minimum working age. C182, worst forms of child labor, bans slavery, child trafficking. Now, India has actually ratified C029, C100, C1, C111, C138, C182, and C105. So many companies and governments, they check whether a country is following these core conventions before they start doing business in that particular country, or before they are giving aid to these countries. Okay, like the MNC supply chains like your Nike, Apple, these companies, they follow these ILO standards to ensure that suppliers in China, Vietnam, or even India don't exploit their workers. Violations of these conventions, it leads to reputation of damage to their reputation. Their products may face bans, any kind of bans, and also consumer lash. Now, what is the relevance of ILS in HR? Why we are studying this? Okay, so from global HRM perspective, it helps to design a fair pay, safety, and contracts for foreign branches. Compliance, it helps avoid unwanted legal issues, lawsuits, or penalties in the global market. CSR and ethics, corporate social responsibility. This ILS supports socially responsible HR practices, labor relations. It encourages good uh, peaceful relationship in, and also to handle better labor management, negotiations, collective bargaining. Diversity and inclusion means it promotes non-discrimination in hiring, promotion, and wages. Workplace safety means it ensures safety, equipment, training, and wellness policies. Next, what are the various challenges faced by challenges faced by ILO in implementing these international labor standards? Like I said in the previous video also, they are not legally enforced. Countries voluntarily adopt ILS. ILO cannot punish them for not adopting these ILS. Economic resistance, some companies want to save money by underpaying workers. Informal sectors, many countries, even our India, have 80% plus informal workers with no contracts, right? You all know how it works, like in our surroundings. Cultural differences, what is acceptable in one country may not be acceptable in another country. Lack of awareness, many small employers and HR teams are even unaware of these ILS conventions. So basically we could say that if you're a good HR and you want to be in HR as a company, it starts with good values, and ILS gives you a global standard for treating people right at work. So with that, I'm just winding up the topic. I hope you understood this topic. If not, please mention in the description box. I'll include more topics. Please let me know in the comments box as well. If you like this video, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you.